Hello and welcome to this month's Tasty Tips. In each Tasty Tips video, I share evidence-based information or delicious recipes to help you make informed decisions, eat balanced, and feel your best. My name is Rachel, and I am a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator at the Northampton Community Health Center Diabetes Education Program. So for today's Tasty Tips video, I'm going to be talking about protein. I'll specifically be honing in on plant-based proteins. Firstly, I'll be talking about why including protein-rich foods in our diet is important. Secondly, I'll talk about kind of the differences between animal and plant-based proteins. And then finally, I'll be walking you through a really delicious plant-based protein recipe that my good friend Megan shared with me. And honestly, ever since I finally tried the recipe, I've been making it on repeat. So stay tuned for that recipe, and I encourage you to try it. So why is protein important? I think a lot of people already are aware that protein is important for the health of your muscles, but it has so many other important roles in our body. So protein, after it's eaten, breaks down into amino acids, and these amino acids are part of really every single chemical reaction that goes on in our body, and these little chemical reactions that are going on help our body function correctly. Additionally, protein has an effect on appetite regulation, so it helps us stay fuller longer. One of the mechanisms of how this works is that it actually slows down how fast our stomach empties, making us feel fuller longer. And this slower digestive process can really help with stabilizing our blood sugars. And stabilizing our blood sugar isn't just good for those living with diabetes, it's good for everyone because it helps keep our energy levels stable throughout the day. And I want to make it clear that yes, protein is important for our health, but the balanced plate model is what you want to focus on. That protein is a part of this model. You want to include the other aspects of this plate as well for balanced eating. Now, on to the types of protein. So I think most of us are aware that animal products have protein in them. So you don't have to turn to animal products to get your protein. Plant-based products still have protein, and there's some that are particularly high in protein. The plant-based products that are higher in protein are beans, lentils, soy-based products like tofu or tempeh, and then also the nuts and seeds category. So peanuts, walnuts, almonds, peanut butter, almond butter, all of those good things are also quite high in protein as well. Now, there's definitely some benefits to trying to eat more plant-based protein on a day-to-day basis, or even on a weekly basis if you are a really animal-based protein eater. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to get rid of the animal products and only eat plant-based products to get the benefits. So you can just kind of swap things here and there. The reason from a nutrition perspective that plant-based proteins are often encouraged is because those foods are often higher in fiber and lower in saturated fats. This overall can benefit our health from a heart health perspective, so it can help with cholesterol and blood pressure levels. And then it also can help from a digestive health perspective as well and keep our gut microbiome healthy. So the recipe that I'm sharing with you today is tofu based, and I thought this was a great one because I do find that tofu in particular is a food that gets a bad rap, and because it is an inexpensive product, and I think a lot of people are scared to try it because they've either never had it before or have not really liked it when they've previously tried it. Or they've looked at recipes and the recipe involves pressing the tofu before cooking, so getting rid of the excess liquid, which is a time-consuming process. This recipe that I'm sharing with you today does not include pressing, so it is a lot quicker and easier than other tofu-based recipes. Okay, so moving on to the recipe for today, which is baked tofu bites. At its core, this recipe only really requires 3 ingredients: tofu, oil, and soy sauce. The optional ingredient of nutritional yeast adds both flavor and some added vitamins. Additional herbs and spices can be added for flavor boosters. Today we're adding garlic powder. Next, you want to add the star ingredient of tofu. I recommend draining it over your sink so you don't make a mess. And really all you have to do is break apart the tofu into somewhat similar sized pieces. And you just break it up with your hands. And this is a very simple step that you could get children in the kitchen to help with. When children are a part of the cooking process, they're actually more likely to try a new food. Then you just spread this mixture evenly on a baking sheet. If you notice any larger chunks, then you can just break it up so the pieces are more uniform. Then just pop this into the oven at about 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then turn or mix it and put back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes until it is golden brown. So you can enjoy the tofu like this, warm out of the oven, or it's also great cold. So this tofu is actually very versatile. You could have it in a stir fry and serve it with rice after, or you could have it in a wrap or on tacos, is one of my personal favorites. But it is very versatile. It keeps well in the fridge or freezer. So it's a great kind of grab and go option, which I think if you've watched my videos before is my favorite way of encouraging people to cook if you're doing home cooking, because we all live busy lives. And if we're trying to eat healthier, we don't want to necessarily make it harder. We want to make it easier so it can be a sustainable change. Thank you for watching. If you have any nutrition related questions specific to you or your family's health, please call to book a free appointment with a registered dietitian. If you have any diabetes related questions or concerns, please call the same number to book an appointment with a registered nurse or a registered dietitian with the Diabetes Education Program. Finally, if you have any requests for future videos, please comment them down below.